The Little Mermaid movie has been receiving lots of negativity since its release, and it's the same usual complaints, one of them being it's yet another unnecessary live remake, and the other is the whole race swapping thing. At first, I didn't care to see the movie. I mean, the only two Disney live action movies I watched were Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin, both of which I didn't find all that interesting. After that, I was done with the live action remakes. But then I watched some YouTubers' review of the Little Mermaid remake, where that person praised the movie and said it gave them chills. I just rolled my eyes. But that got me curious, and I was bored, so I ended up watching the movie for myself. It turns out that they were right. It's not a bad movie, but it's not great either. So here's what I thought of the movie. Also, hi, by the way, welcome to my channel. But let me say this before I start. I watched The Little Mermaid, the 2D animated one, as an adult, so the nostalgia factor is not that strong for me. Although among all the Disney princesses movies, it might be my favorite one. But that's just because of the songs, really. If the songs weren't what they are, which are timeless classics, I wouldn't think much of the movie's story. So I'm indifferent to the changes to the story and characters' backgrounds that happened in the 2023 version. To me, some details are important, others are like set dressing. For example, with Ariel, if she was changed to being a commoner mermaid instead of a royalty, I wouldn't care, as long as she still has an overbearing helicopter parent, because that's an integral part of her story. And it just so happened that all the changes here in the 2023 version were inconsequential, which makes them pointless. For example, spoiler alert, the prince in this version is adopted. He was rescued from a shipwreck and now he's a royalty. This changes nothing. That's not just my opinion, but it is true within the movie. Like, no one in the village takes issues with that. It doesn't affect the story. It just leads to characters vomiting out exposition about themselves or other characters. Yeah, what? You thought they were gonna, show all of that? Like in the movies? Yeah, no. So nothing regarding the story is worth mentioning. If you zoned out while these characters are talking, like I did, you wouldn't be lost since it's the same story. So let's jump into the aesthetic changes. Ariel, the prince, and more. Starting with the villagers. There's not a single frame in the movie where all the people in it look the same, ethnically speaking. There are two angles in which this can be viewed. The first one is to consider this village, this world, to be a fantasy one, similarly to some animes where one sibling would have a green hair and the other would have a blue hair. This way, things like Ariel's sisters sharing zero resemblance with her nor their dad can be rationalized. Now, I arrived at the second angle the more I thought about this. It just makes the place seem phony, like you wouldn't think this place exists. Still, like in plays, you can hold on to your suspension of belief and accept that this grown adult is a helpless child. For me, the cast's racial makeup didn't distract me at any point of the movie. What did distract me though is the cast themselves, specifically Ariel. The person who played her, Hallie, is a great singer. I didn't mind her version of the movie songs, still prefer the original though. But what took me out of the movie is some of her scenes. I don't know if it's because she's not an experienced actress or if she wasn't directed well. In many scenes, I was baffled by her reactions or lack thereof, but she's not alone in this. Most of the cast gave out a stilted performance. The king might be even worse than her, honestly. For instance, one of those scenes is one where the king yells at Ariel. She talks back at him, saying something disrespectful, and then she proceeds to swim away. The king didn't react, he didn't yell, he didn't call out to her. Her sisters were also there. They didn't react in any significant way, didn't even stop what they were doing. Another one is where she was swimming through the tunnel to get to Ursula's place, getting zapped and attacked by the creatures in there. She just comes out of the end of the tunnel and says nothing. She didn't look surprised nor irritated. She's not even suspicious after going through all of that. And speaking of Ursula, why is she always laying down in nearly all of her scenes? She's portrayed well enough, but because of how she's written, she comes across as a side character instead of an intimidating and relevant to the story antagonist. The only two characters whose acting didn't take me out of the movie were the Queen and Grimsby. Whenever they're on the screen, I'm not confused about what they're feeling, so that's good. In conclusion, this movie can be enjoyed for what it is. However, there is a notable lack of attention to details, and undoubtedly it is far inferior to the 2D animated one. I didn't even have to rewatch that to tell you this because, it's an animated movie where every frame in it matters, while this movie is comparable to those old school anime episodes, particularly the filler ones, where if you paid close attention, you'd notice that the people in the background haven't moved an inch in the last 2 minutes. I think Disney should stop making realistic live remakes, especially if they'll involve animals. Like, what are any of these characters' emotion is supposed to be? Anyways, let me know what you thought of the movie. Am I the only one who kinda liked Aquafina's song? At least the non-rapping parts? Thanks for watching. Like the video if you like it. Let me know what you thought of the movie. Bye bye.